Mojtaba's recent remarks are being interpreted by some observers as a hint that Iran may still possess undisclosed oil export routes, while also appearing to mock Donald Trump's broader pressure campaign and peace strategy. Iran is increasingly projecting confidence against the United States, as reports suggest that American pressure and maritime restrictions have so far failed to completely stop oil shipments linked to Tehran from moving through regional trade corridors. Questions are now emerging over whether countries publicly presenting themselves as neutral peace mediators may also be quietly functioning as indirect trade lifelines, helping Iran maintain critical oil and commercial flows. Some critics are now claiming that Donald Trump's pressure strategy against Iran may be facing setbacks not only from Tehran itself, but also from growing resistance or non-cooperation from countries such as China and Pakistan. According to Iran International, Iranian officials have insisted that U.S. sanctions and pressure campaigns will not succeed in reducing the country's oil exports completely to zero despite ongoing economic restrictions. Reports also claim that Iran believes it still possesses alternative oil export routes beyond the strategically important Karg Island terminals that have long been central to Tehran's energy network. An economic advisor to Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian further claimed that Iran has access to other oil resources and export capabilities that remain operational despite growing international pressure. The Iranian official reportedly refused to reveal specific details regarding these alternative export systems, fueling speculation that Tehran may be relying on undisclosed trade and transport networks. Tehran has also signaled that it believes it can successfully bypass mounting pressure targeting its southern export terminals and critical maritime infrastructure linked to the Strait of Hormuz crisis. According to reports, a senior advisor to President Pezeshkian suggested that Iran's secret or lesser-known export channels continue to remain active even under sustained U.S. sanctions and geopolitical pressure. Donald Trump claimed in April that Iran's whole oil infrastructure would eventually explode under mounting U.S. pressure and restrictions targeting Tehran's critical energy exports and trade networks. However, many experts remain skeptical that pressure around the Strait of Hormuz or broader U.S. restrictions can realistically force Iran to fully accept Washington's political and economic terms. Iran also possesses nearly 6,000 kilometers of land borders with 7 different countries, giving Tehran multiple alternative trade and transport options beyond maritime shipping routes. According to oilprice.com, Iran may increasingly be relying on countries such as Pakistan, Turkey, Russia, and China to help bypass sanctions and maintain vital trade and energy flows. Reports indicate that Pakistan recently opened its ports to third-country cargo shipments bound for Iran, creating new logistical pathways during the ongoing regional crisis. The Pakistani move reportedly established 6 separate land routes allowing goods to travel from the ports of Gwadar, Karachi, and Port Qasim directly toward the Iranian border. Reports further suggest that the Karpi-Karazi crossing continues to serve as a critical commercial corridor linking Iran's trade network with Turkey and broader European markets. Oilprice.com has also claimed that Moscow and Tehran are increasingly using the Caspian Sea as an alternative channel for moving sanctioned oil and other restricted goods. According to reports, Tehran is now exploring rail-based oil export routes to China as maritime shipping pressures and restrictions continue to intensify across the region. Despite these alternative pathways, experts warn that land corridors and rail links still cannot fully replace the scale and efficiency of Iran's traditional maritime export economy. Amid rising hopes for a ceasefire framework, Trump is now insisting that only he can decide Iran's future, portraying himself as the sole arbiter of any final arrangement. On May 24th, he told an American network that signing any final Iran deal is totally up to me, stressing that nothing will be agreed without his personal approval. Trump insisted that if there's news, it's only going to be good news, adding that he doesn't make bad deals, a line meant to reassure both domestic supporters and nervous partners abroad. He said he has instructed his negotiators not to rush into a deal with Tehran, arguing that moving too fast could lock in terms that fall short of U.S. objectives. Trump claimed that time is on our side as talks continue, signaling that he believes Iran is under more pressure from sanctions and the blockade than Washington is from the war's costs. Officials in Washington have made clear the naval blockade on Iran will remain in place until an agreement is reached and signed, keeping economic and military pressure firmly on Tehran during negotiations. Trump said, and I quote, "One of the worst deals ever made by our country was the Iran nuclear deal, put forth and signed into existence by Barack Hussein Obama and the rank amateurs of the Obama administration. It was a direct path to Iran developing a nuclear weapon. Not so with the transaction currently being negotiated with Iran by the Trump administration. The exact opposite, in fact. The negotiations are proceeding in an orderly and constructive manner, and I have informed my representatives not to rush into a deal in that time is on our side. The blockade will remain in full force and effect until an agreement is reached, certified, and signed. Both sides must take their time and get it right. There can be no mistakes. Our relationship with Iran is becoming a much more professional and productive one. They must understand, however, that they cannot develop or procure a nuclear weapon or bomb. Unquote.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.